Hello friends. In this video, I want to talk about something very serious because things are getting very serious. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to just go to the grocery store and check out the price of milk, check out the price of eggs, and check out the price of bread. Things are out of hand. I'm telling you right now, things are out of hand. Yes, things are bad. Economically, things are going south. But I have good news for you. There's always a silver lining in everything. This is one concept you always have to have at the back of your mind. The silver lining is this. We're now transitioning into the underdog season. Let me explain to you what I mean. When times are good for a very long time, and times have been good economically for a very long time, times have been very good in the US, times have been good in Canada, times have been good in Australia and the UK. Most Western countries, times have been wonderful. What this does is it creates a lot of weak people. For some context, if you're an immigrant and you come from a very tough country, I'm just going to pick Middle East, for example. There's a lot of conflicts going on in the Middle East. If you're from South America, Honduras, even some parts of Mexico, Central America, if you're from Belize, it's not easy. If you're from Nigeria, it's not easy. If you're from Africa in general, it's never been easy for you. That's the reason why you live in America right now, because it's never been easy for you. Society has created a lot of weak people because things were good for too long. With these weak people, it means that they have a hard time adjusting to a new reality when times are tough. Oftentimes, you will discover that some of the very agencies that you're competing with right now are completely over-leveraged. They took out all these loans, and as interest rates go up, they can't pay back these loans. So they're over-leveraged. They've taken on too many liabilities. But guess what? You've been in the struggles for a long time. Maybe you've been struggling for 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. I know I've been struggling for a long time, for at least 2 decades. I remember what it was like to eat noodles every day. I remember what it was like to eat those 99-cent burgers. Yes, when burgers were still 99 cents from Carl's Jr. or Jack in the Box. If you're from Cali, you know what I'm talking about. Burgers were really that cheap. And you could get your lettuce and tomatoes and onions. That was your nutrition for the week. You feel me? I remember being that broke. And I'm not scared of going back to that level of brokenness. On top of that, I'm African. I'm not scared of going back to Africa and, really experiencing this. I'm not scared of that because I know what it's like. I know what it tastes like. Now how to get out of it. I know all the steps required to get out of that trench. Somebody that has never seen that struggle, has never been through that struggle, has no clue on how to operate under those conditions. They have no idea. That means immediately, if you're from a struggle background, you're already ahead. Because as these weak people, as these weak competitors, agencies and businesses start to collapse, it means that the lane is wide open for you. It's wide open for you. All you have to do now is to crack the whip on yourself. The problem with you is that you got too many excuses. I know, because I talk to a lot of you guys. You got too many excuses like you can't find funding, you don't have the money, you're lying. You're just not creative enough. You're just not willing to do whatever it takes. If you need some help on how to raise money without taking on any loans, hit me up. Schedule some time. I'll give you some practical ideas on how to raise cash without taking out loans, high interest loans. to raise money yourself. I know how to do it because I'm already doing it right now without loans. But it requires you to be extremely creative. The problem is that you've just been going with the flow. This is what happens, right? In society, it's like we want to fit in, right? Because we are communal people, we're social beings. So whatever we see this person doing, we also want to do. We think it's the right thing to do, even if it's going against our interests. Our interests are, we don't want to be in debt. So we end up following somebody else that tells us, oh, you go get a student loan, for example. Go get this. Even if you know for sure you don't need that. What I'm saying to you is this. If you're coming from a struggle background, this is your shot. If you know how to survive on noodles, on eating noodles, cutting back your expenses, and you know how to stack your money up, your savings, then I say this is your turn. Because you have to remember something. The 10 years that you put into this career, the 5 years you put into this career, the 15 years you put in, the 20 years you put in, is priceless. This is wisdom that anybody that is, let's say, 25 years old, that is still coming into this business, has no experience. You have that context. You have that experience. That's something that you should value. If you go on social media right now, you see a lot of young people in their 20s, early 30s, becoming millionaires. Why do you think that is? Because they've seen the end zone, and they see you sleepy. They see you taking naps. You're tired. They see that you're tired, and they're willing to eat noodles for at least 3 years while they're stacking up their money and opening up that agency to compete with you and end up hiring you. It's a grind, you see. You need to start asking yourself, what is really truly holding you back? A lot of people are being held back by liabilities. They've taken on too many liabilities that are holding them back from taking that jump. I've talked to a lot of people that talk about, I just bought a new house, so I'm going to start my business next year. But that house is going to be a liability. Do you really need that house? Do you really need that mortgage? Could you hold off maybe for 3 years? Rent a room somewhere? Rent a room with a friend? Oh no, you can't do that, can you? No. You see, when we start talking about that, you get uncomfortable. I know why. Because the idea of you at your big age renting a room in order for you to stack up your money to start your business is not a good look in front of your fake friends. I know. I know how you think. Because you and me are the same. I know how you think. The difference is I'll rent that room at my big age so I can stack up my money and end up hiring you to do my work for me. That's the difference between me and you. What I'm trying to tell you is this. You need to crack the whip on yourself. You need to absolutely crack the whip on yourself and eliminate every single liability that's holding you back. Is it that fake friend? Is it that mortgage? Is it that car payment? What is it? Can you look at your bills? Can you look at your expenses? Can you look at your income that's coming in? If you're making $5,000 a month, which most of you probably are making $5,000 a month or even $4,000 a month. If you're making that much, can you live on $2,000 a month? That should be a new challenge. Because we're getting into that deep recession. I know I can. You might say no, because it's your ego. Because you think at your big age, your ego is too big. You're afraid of what your fake friends are going to think about you when you get rid of that luxury car. You're going to be worried about what your fake friends are going to think about you because they're going to start talking behind your back and say, oh man, this guy's going broke or this lady's going broke. That's what you're afraid of. I know you. I know you too well. But the only difference is I'm not scared because I know in 3 years. It's big pressure, baby. Big pressure. We'll be applying pressure on them. Delayed gratification is a lost art, I think. Because people want it now. Delayed gratification, when times are good, creates a lot of soft, weak people. Find ways If it means that you have to rent a room for $1,000 a month, ideally for the single people, obviously. Like if you're married, if you got kids, this is going to be a difficult transition to live way below your means, like $2,000 a month. But a lot of people can do that. You know, there are guys. Men are really good at minimalism. So guys are living way below their means now because they know how bad the economy is. Like you'll find a guy who will rent a room for like $500 a month deep in the hood, right? Mind his own business. But meanwhile, this guy's got money in the bank. He can afford to live in a mansion. This guy's renting a room for like $500-$600 a month. And he's living very frugally. And his expenses after rent is probably like another $1,500. And he doesn't go out. He has a used car, a really beat up used car. Personally, I don't have a car, no. My car is paid up. And I drive a 10-year-old car. I see no reason to be driving a 2024 car. Why? That's a liability for me. I got a 10-year-old car. Can you do that? Can your ego allow you to do that at your big age? You got to humble yourself because this is the winning season. Because if you don't do that, there's going to be guys like me that can do that at our big age. I have no problems. If I need to raise some money, I have no problems going to live in a room, renting a room for $1,000, maybe less, $800 a month, live there, and then hustle. I got no problem doing that because I've done that most of my life anyway. I hope you got some value from this video. If you still need help, if you need to talk, schedule some time. Let's talk. All right? Let's get after it. Let's go.